What is happening, guys? How you're doing? El Stevo here. Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Had a pretty good weekend. Obviously, I plan not to do any videos on Sunday because that is the day of rest. My partner is suffering from pneumonia though, so unfortunately I couldn't do my review of Westworld yesterday. So here it is. But having watched the episode twice now, this is going to be the first of two videos. I have an awesome theory on Mr. Pro Gamer himself, the Man in Black. Obviously I'm going to talk about him in my review, but check back to the channel later, subscribe and you'll get notifications, and you will have an in-depth theory on who the Man in Black is and what his game is. I've had a really, I think, pretty clever idea about it, so I'll bring you all that later on. First of all, review of Chestnut, episode 2. What a way to carry on the series, guys. Did an absolutely fantastic job of showing us more character motivation without overloading us with too much to think about. We've got a new subplot that I'm going to mention with two newcomers to the park. Thandie Newton, who plays Maeve Miller, absolutely domined this episode. She smashed it out of the park. She was front and centre and she ran with it. She did really well. Who else? We got Dolores. Well, basically I'll start with Dolores. Obviously we ended with her last week. She's the one that her father provided her, basically, I think, by the looks of it, with a temporary conscience. And the techies outside, Elsie Hughes, one of the programmers, she says, can you imagine how fucked up things would be if these poor assholes ever remembered what the guests do to them? And I think this is what's happened with Dolores. She's starting to remember. And she is outside, as usual, in part of the story. And Maeve Miller, Thandie Newton, comes up to her and talks to her and says, stay away from my whorehouse because you're not good looking, or something along those lines. And Dolores turns to her and with dead eye says, we live in... Oh, no, sorry, what did she say? Where have I put it? She says, its violent delights have violent ends. And then all of a sudden, Maeve looks at her and goes funny. I think she's passed on the conscious illness, whatever these AIs, robots have got. And Maeve, from then on, she starts flidding out. She stops being able to sell sex. They pull her from her storyline. And they bump up her anger. These are techies that don't know much about programming. Bump up her anger. They tweak her configuration, send her back out, and she's still not getting any pussy. She's glitching. She's really angry. So she goes back to Elsie Hughes, and Maeve's having these nightmares, really bad nightmares, including nightmares about the Man in Black. So obviously he's encountered her before. In one of those stories she had a little girl. So all these memories are being brought forward, and she's remembered it. So obviously she's the latest one to interact with Dolores, who is played by Evans Rachel Wood, and she goes flid, and then obviously Elsie Hughes brings her back down, sorts her all out, lightens her, softens her, sends her back out, and she's kind of back to normal. Obviously that's a very brief explanation of that storyline, but Thandie Newton, obviously, as in the UK tonight, guys, so my UK boys, you'll be able to watch it tonight. Obviously Thandie Newton absolutely smashed it. She did amazing. I can't really sing her praises highly enough. Basically, moving on, in the real world, we find out that Bernard and Theresa is the one that seems to undermine the company, and she's always smoking. Bernard is the head programmer guy, the black guy. It turns out that they're fucking. Bernard shows up to her room, so obviously there's something going on there. And then you've got that bell-end Mr. Sizemore. Mr. Sizemore is making a new storyline, and he's created it, and it's called Odyssey on the Red River, and we see this trailer for it, and it looks fantastic. But it's just like standard Western fare, and obviously the boss man, played by Anthony Hopkins, I can't remember his bloody name now, he hates it, says no, we don't want to do it. It's basically, he says that the storylines are more to find out who the person is, they're not to find out who the robots are. It was quite a good scene. He basically he doesn't want this storyline, and some of his words are, you can't play God without there being you can't play God without being acquainted with the devil. So basically, even he knows that his AIs are starting to maybe become, now that he's put this program in so that they have their memories and stuff, that maybe they are becoming self-aware. Obviously, there is that. Mr. Sizemore is going to be, I think he's going to be the one that goes behind their back and tries to have the company brought down or whatever. He thinks they're too realistic. He thinks his storylines are brilliant, but they're shit. Moving on to the new subplot, we've got two newcomers, William and Logan. Now, they've made this very clear cut that William is a good guy and Logan is a complete newbie to Westworld, so he doesn't know anything. William is a vet. He's all cocky about it, says it's going to be brilliant, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they arrive on the train. William gets to the station and the hostess takes him away. Logan says to him that you're going to discover who you are and I want to see that asshole. The host asks him if he's got any medical conditions, blah, blah. And he, basically, she says to him, the further out into the park you go, the more intense the experience gets. How far you want to go is completely up to you. Basically, we got a little bit of an introduction in how they arrive at the park, how they're introduced to the park, and kind of what kind of orientation they have, which is literally none. They go into it, this escort lady takes him to a dressing room, shows him all the clothes in his size, offers to fuck. She says, basically, you're here, the limit is whatever you want. He declines, he picks a white hat. The other guy that he's with picks black, so they're obviously trying to show that one is good, one is bad. But there's a lot more to that storyline, and I will be coming back to that in my next video. Finally, the guy that you all want to know about, Ed Harris, the man in black. He has another pretty good episode. After scalping Matey in the last episode, he's got his little map. He goes to a hang-in and kidnaps this guy. Let me find his name. His name. Looking for Lawrence. He's called Lawrence. He basically saves Lawrence from all these guys and getting hanged. Takes him to a far-off village where they sit at a bar, and Lawrence's wife and daughter arrive. And basically, Ed Harris kills everyone there. He says he's looking for the maze, and obviously on the top of this scout there was a maze. He shoots everyone. He's about to shoot the mother, and the little girl goes, "The maze isn't meant for you. Follow the bloody Uriah to the place where the snake lays its eggs." Now, this is obviously a code to find somewhere deeper into Westworld. The man in black is on some kind of crazy mission. He said that he's never going back to the real world. He intends to find the centre of the maze. Maybe he's onto some kind of self-awareness thing. But obviously, I said before that I see him as like a veteran who's played this game so much that he's trying to tweak the fibre of it. But it's a little bit more sinister. Obviously, we've seen in Maeve's nightmares, the man in black attacks her. So he's part of her past as well. But he knows a lot more about this game. And when two techies outside, one says, this guy's doing this and he's really far in. The other guy goes, this guy gets what he wants. He's a veteran. So the staff are aware of him. I'm not sure if they're aware of his complete plan. But we got a lot more of him. We got a few more of his motives. He didn't kill the kid. He takes Lawrence with him at the end. Basically, he shoots the bartender. He's looking for this maze, and it was basically anyone in his path he will stop. And he's gone off with Lawrence, and the little girl was staring at him. He didn't kill the little girl. But I've got a Man in Black theory, so I'm going to bring a video out later today, so you can all get an explanation. Overall, guys, I thought this episode did a really, really good job of carrying on the story without, like I said, the characters' motivations are a lot more clear to me now. Thandie Newton absolutely ran away with this episode. They gave her the script, they gave her the plot, and she absolutely smashed it. I'm looking forward to seeing how contagious this consciousness is that Dolores is passing around. But I'm really, really looking forward to episode 3, guys. I'm sorry this was out today, not yesterday, but the UK guys, that's absolutely fine for you because we're on tonight. This programme, this show, has got so many different directions we can go now. It's really, really good. I love every element of it. And after 2 episodes, if they carry on with this kind of standard and this kind of cinematography, it could be a film. These 2 episodes, you put them together, it'd be a good film. Obviously, this is going to be a great binge watch series when it's all done. But, oh, and one final thing, executive producer J.J. Abrams. I had no idea about that. Fair play. Whatever he touches seems to turn to gold. Some people, it's a bit like Marmite, love him or hate him. But anyway, tomorrow, This Is Us and The Flash. This Is Us is back after the VP debates last week. I'll try and get both of those out. I'll give you another one this afternoon. Other than that, over and out, guys. Hope you enjoyed Westworld. I fucking love it. I fucking love you too. Peace.